Once. A little. One, two. Just gotta make sure. Hold it tight. All right. I don't know the end time, but pull up 10-ish in the morning, and you can get free groceries here Mondays and Fridays. And then they also do, I think, a wellness clinic, but I'm gonna mess that up, so I'm not gonna say anymore. And there goes the brother right there. What's up, brother? Peace, peace. I was just talking about the free groceries that go on here Mondays. Yep, come on, brother. By the way, welcome everybody. We are in Oak Park. We are here for a community reparations meeting. I'm gonna pass the mic to start to my good brother Jordan, who runs the Shakur Center here in Oak Park. What's up, bro?
How y'all doing? Ooh, sorry. I am Jordan McGowan. I am the Minister of Programs here at Neighbor Program. Today, we are having a Malcolm X celebration, so I appreciate y'all coming out. Hopefully, as you pulled up, you saw the building was red, black, and green, right? That's intentional, right? We're letting folks know who we are and what we're about. We're about us, right? We have Panther Court out there. Again, so we're trying to make sure that there's a clear demonstration of who we are, what we represent. That's why we just had an angry colonizer come to the back and say something. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of know what we're getting ourselves into, right? And just like y'all in this work, right? We know what we're going up against. And so we know that, and what we believe in is self-determination, right? The ability for the people to govern themselves, rule themselves, control themselves. And so part of that, right, means building alternative solutions. And that's what we like to do here, and to have this space that we can have these types of conversations. So every Monday and Friday, we have free groceries for the community here from 11 to 1. Twice a month, we have free breakfast program that feeds the unhoused in the area. We have a newspaper that comes out once a month. We have at least 2 community learnings where we come together, kind of like this, and have a conversation around in political ideology and theory. We also have the farm in the back so people can learn how to farm and things like that. We have a free health and wellness clinic the last Saturday of every month. And we also have a free health and wellness clinic, a free expungement clinic on usually the last Sunday of the month, which allows a lot of brothers, right, who have records from especially marijuana to have those records expunged and allow them to move, take that next step moving forward. And so, again, what we're about here is about us. It's about building for us, right, nation building and understanding who we are. And so we are so excited that y'all are here. Thank you so much. And I hope that y'all get a chance to check out Neighbor Program. I'm excited to be involved in this conversation today. And again, thank you for coming.
Give my man a round of applause, please. Big shout out to the Neighbor Program. Big shout out to Jordan and his team. They do a amazing work here in Oak Park, in Sacramento, which is where we are right now, 3841 4th Avenue. 3841 4th Avenue, Oak Park, Sacramento. That's where we at right now. Welcome everybody. That was actually a better welcome than I could have did because I was gonna talk about the neighbor program and talk about where we are and why we're here. There's a bunch of activities going on in the back, as I was saying in sort of my cold opening, that you're gonna hear some energy in the back, you're gonna hear some tunes in the back, you're gonna hear some kids running around and playing in the back because we are at a community center here in Oak Park called the Shakur Center. And before we go forward with the conversation we're going to have today about reparations, I want to do some other welcomes and some thank yous to one, everybody that's here today in person. I want to welcome and thank you to ETM Media Group, who is live streaming this community information session right now. Big love to ETM Media. What's up, Kim? What's up, Umoya? What's going on? Peace, peace. I want to shout out everybody that's watching right now on the live stream on the YouTube at ETM Media Group. For those of y'all who don't know, my name is Chris Lodgson. I am a resident here of Sacramento, originally from the East Coast, originally from New York, so you're going to hear a bit of a New York accent. And I am also with ARCC, which is the American Redress Coalition of California, and also CJEC, the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California. And we are just regular black folks like you who work for reparations and reparative justice in our community. Specifically, our ARCC team works in the Northern California region. So we got a team here in Sacramento, we got a team in the Bay Area also. And our statewide group works in Northern California, in the middle of California, and in Southern California as well. CJEC is a coalition of three different groups that work across the state for reparations and for reparative justice. ARCC is one of those groups. Our other coalition partners include CBLS, which is the California Black Lineage Society, and our Los Angeles team, which is the National Assembly of American Slavery Descendants, Los Angeles, or NAASDLA. So that's who CJEC is. We do, as I said, reparations and reparative justice work here in the state of California. What we're going to talk about today is California reparations. So what's going on with California reparations? Have you heard about it? Do you know what's going on? Do you have questions about what's going on? Do you want to know how you get involved in what's going on for California reparations? That's what we're going to talk about today. Before we go further to talk about that though, a little bit more background about how we got into this work, just briefly, and what we've done so far to actually make California reparations a real thing. So our group, ARCC and CJEC, we actually worked starting in 2019 to help the state of California create its first reparations commission. And there'll be more information on this as we talk, but California is the first state in the nation to create a reparations commission to develop reparations proposals. This was done back in 2020, and myself and some of the folks here with our ETM media team, some of the folks watching live, our good partner Darlene, also who is with our Bay Area team, who drove all the way up from the Bay Area to be here with us today, and many other black folks all across the state worked, started in 2019, 2020, to help the state of California write a law that created the first in the nation reparations commission, and the governor, Gavin Newsom, signed that law back in 2020. So we've been working on this for a while. We actually started working on this before there was a reparations commission. Back when California was just talking about reparations, we started connecting with our community. We started connecting with our politicians and saying, if you're going to talk about reparations, if you're going to do reparations, the community got to be involved, black folks got to be involved. So that's how we got into this work, and we've been working ever since. Just some quick housekeeping before we go full speed ahead. First, if you didn't see, there's a sign-in sheet up here. We'll have it circulated around. So make sure before you leave, you get your name on that sign-in sheet and put your name, put your email, so that way we can stay in contact with you and make sure that you get information about what's going on. That's the first thing. Second thing, make sure, and I know everybody here got Twitter, got Instagram, got TikTok, got YouTube, got Facebook, got all that. Make sure you following us on all your social medias. So ARCC at ARCC official on Instagram and Facebook. Follow that now. Also, American Redress at American Redress on Twitter. Make sure you follow that now. Also, CJEC official. That's at CJEC official on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We actually just started a TikTok, or we just revamped the TikTok, and we just officially started our YouTube page probably in the last couple of weeks. We've been doing most of our YouTube work through our amazing media partners here, ETM Media Group, and this is the other piece of housekeeping. Make sure you also follow ETM Media Group on YouTube as well. They're live streaming this right now on YouTube. So make sure you following those. And as my good brother Jordan said to start, make sure you follow and support the work that the Neighbor program is doing here in the city of Sacramento in Oak Park. As the brother said, we got free groceries every Monday and Friday right here where you're sitting at, where we're standing at. Free groceries every Monday and Friday. So if you know somebody who needs some, Mondays and Fridays from 11 to 1, pull up right around the back there to the parking lot, and you get free groceries. If you want to volunteer to help bag the groceries, if you got ideas for where to bring groceries to be donated, please get in touch with the Neighbor program, because these brothers and sisters do a lot of great work here in Oak Park. Also, they got a free breakfast once a month, wellness clinic, legal expungement clinic. Amazing, really, really strong, good work going on here in Oak Park. So at Neighbor Program on IG. Also, you must follow, you must connect, and you must support as well. Last piece of housekeeping before we push forward. As we go through the conversation today, think about questions. Think about what you want to ask about the information that you hear. And if and when you do have questions, feel free to pop your hand up. I may come to you right then, but also we do got a Q&A section set for the end of the conversation. So if I don't get to you right when you have your question and your hand raised, I'll make sure that I get to you in the Q&A. So have questions, have thoughts, have ideas. This is as much of a conversation as it is me sharing information with you, because your thoughts and your ideas are as important as anyone else. Oh, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. So I talked about the work that our statewide coalition does, CJEC. We are one of the 7 what they call community anchor organizations that was selected by the California Reparations Task Force to do community outreach for reparations. So the California Reparations Commission decided sometime last year that it needed to be going into communities, talking to black folks, going into black neighborhoods, not waiting for black people to come to them, but actually going to where black people are. And so they selected 6 community organizations to do that. And our group is one of those 6 community groups that are doing that. So this is probably our 7th, 8th, maybe 9th community meeting that we've done for California reparations. And we've got more to come. And towards the end of the conversation here, I'm going to talk about how you can connect going forward to some of the upcoming events, because we got a rally coming up, we got another event in Oakland, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, that's the housekeeping. Here's what we're going to talk about today, and here's how we're going to do it. So, I'm going to give you some basic information about California reparations. We're going to talk about what the word reparations means, because I said the word reparations probably 7 times already. But I may have an understanding about what reparations means that's different from you, So we're gonna talk about what that word actually means, and also what that word means as the California Reparations task force or commission has defined it. By the way, I'm going to say the word commission and task force interchangeably, meaning I'm going to use the word commission, then I'm going to use the word task force, and I'm going to say them like they mean the same thing. The reason I'm doing that is because we were out on Martin Luther King Boulevard here in Sacramento in January, and we were out passing out flyers, telling people about California reparations, just talking to the brothers and sisters outside, walking to the corner store, going to the parks, on their way to pick up the kids. And one of the brothers said to us, so we walked up to the brother, and he said, we said, hey, can we share some information with you about the California Reparations Task Force? And his words were, you know, as much probation as I'm on, the last word I want to hear is task force. The last thing I want to hear about is a task force. So right then we started switching up our language. We started using different language. So you're gonna hear me say the word task force and or commission interchangeably here. So that's just one warning for you that when you hear task force or commission, I mean the same thing. Really, it's just a group of people, whose job it is right now to do reparations here in California. So we're going to talk about some basic information about the California Reparations Task Force, what reparations are. We're going to talk about how you can get involved in what's going on with the California Reparations Task Force now. And then we're going to get to your questions. We're going to get to your thoughts. We're going to get to your ideas. We're going to get to your participation in California reparations. And I'm also going to give you a call to action and then plug some events that you could come to next. So, just one other note here. Everything I'm going to say today is available online on our website, cjecofficial.org. So you're going to get a bunch of information today. You're free to take notes, but don't feel like you need to take no notes. One, it's being live streamed anyway, so you could go back to the live stream. But two, everything I'm going to say, every piece of information I'm going to give you is on our website right now, cjecofficial.org. All right, so before we do anything else, though, let's actually get to know each other a little bit. I told the family earlier, this is actually strange to be standing up here. I'm a little bit more close. I like to be a little bit more closer, but I actually do want to get to know who's here a little bit. So I'm actually going to turn the attention to the family that's here, and I'm just going to ask the family here, who's here, to tell me your name, what city you live in, and whether or not you were born in California. Okay, so I want to start myself, Chris. I live here in Sacramento, and I was not born in California. I was actually born in Manhattan. I'm actually born on the borough, the island of Manhattan, all the way on the East Coast. My mother is from New York, but my father was actually born in San Diego. Okay? So that's me. All right. I'm gonna pick on somebody. I'm gonna pick on somebody familiar to start. Yes. Name and as loud as you can, and then I'll repeat it for the family who's watching online. Okay, so we got right on. We got Darlene from Fairfield, born in California. All right. So Crystal, living in Sacramento, born in Colorado Springs. All right, ma'am. Maya, born here in California, lives here in Sacramento. Brother, Big love. So that's Jay, born and raised here in Sacramento, lives here in Sacramento. Also got the family with him. All right. I'm going to the back. Name, where do you live now? What city? And were you born in California? Yep. Good deal. All right. All right. So that's Kadir, lives in Sacramento, born in Chicago. All right. And yes. All right. So that's Tamara, born in California, lives in Sacramento. All right. Here we go. Now, I asked y'all where y'all was from and all that, and where y'all was born, all that. I want to tell you where you at though right now. So, and this is important. I want to tell you where you at right now. What's up? All right. Like I said, we got a community center. You're gonna see some youngins running around. You're gonna hear music in the back because we got things going on. So y'all told me where y'all was from. I want to tell you where you at though. So everybody right here, and for the family here who's with our ETM media team, and for the family watching who works with us and organizes with us, y'all heard this 1,000 times. But everybody right now here is sitting inside of a history book. I'm gonna say that again. Everybody here, each one of y'all, is sitting inside of a history book. Why? Why am I saying that? We have never been this close to reparations as a people since the end of the Civil War. I'll say that again. Black people in this country have not been this close to reparations since the end of the Civil War. So every single one of us is making history right now. Every single one of us. So no matter how you answer that question, where you at, where you from, was you born in California, don't matter. Right now, you are sitting inside of a history book because we have never been this close to reparations. So you're a part of something very special. You are very special. And it's in that same spirit that I want to thank you again for joining us here today. All right, let's actually get to what we're here for, though, right? Let's actually get to what you came for. So let's start with some basic information. By the way, everything I'm going to say is on our website, cjecofficial.org. So don't feel like you need to take notes and all that. It's on our website. Check it out later. But let's get to some basic reparations information, basic California reparations information. So in 2020, for those of you who don't know, in the year 2020, California was and still is the first nation in America to create a reparations commission, a reparations team, a reparations group. And the official name of the Reparations Commission is the Commission to Study and Develop Reparations Proposals for African Americans. So that's the official title of the Reparations Commission. The law that created the Reparations Commission is called, this is just for your knowledge, just for your information, AB 3121. AB 3121. That is the bill that became the law to create California's first in the nation reparations commission. The commission itself met for the first time in June of 2021. So about a year or so ago, 11 months ish ago, the commission actually met for the first time. There are 9 members of the California Reparations Commission, 9 members, and we're going to talk a little bit about who they are And by the way, make sure before you leave, if you didn't get one when you came in, we got a really cool looking handout slash card that I actually designed and printed. So I'm going to make sure you definitely get it because I actually did that. So make sure you get that because that has all of the names of the California Reparations Commissioners and their faces on it and some basic information about the California Reparations Commission. But there are 9 members of the California Reparations Commission, and the commission has 3 things. 3 things. First, what you might call investigate or study reparations. That's 1. 2, figure out how and then educate the California public about what it finds out from that investigation, from that study. And then 3, and this is the thing that people usually care the most about. The third thing the California Reparations Commission has to do by law is actually create what will become reparations legislation. So I want to say that last one again. I think a lot of us already feel like we know why we need reparations. We know what happened to us. We know what are we going to do about it? What are we actually going to do about it? This is also what the California Reparations Commission has to do by law. It has 2 years to do those 3 things. 2 years specifically from the first day that it met. So it met for the first time in June of 2021. So that means it has until June of 2023 to actually do those 3 things. So it has about a year or so left. There's a couple of important points to make here that I want to make sure you know. First, right now, there is a bill, or I want to make this as simple as possible. So in our work, we do political education. So we don't assume that people know what some of these words mean. Like, what is a bill? What is this? What is a law? Simply speaking, right now, there are people who are politicians in California who are working to extend the time and deadline of the current California Reparations Commission by about 1 year. So I said that the commission has 2 years to do its work. Right now, there are people trying to extend that by about another year. So instead of ending in 2023, it would, if this is successful, if they actually get what they want, it would end in 2024. So I wanted to make sure that y'all had the most current information. I see the side eyes. I see the side eyes because some people have been, and rightly so, suspicious of why do we want to extend the time of the task force? Why do we want to do that? What's the reasons for that? What's the rationale for that? Very good questions. I actually want to hear what y'all think about that. But I want to make sure that y'all had that information first. And then secondly, the commission is about halfway through its time. In June, so next month, the commission is gonna release its first report. And in the first report it releases, it's going to have all of the information, all of the investigation, all of the study, all of the everything that is done over the first year, all in that one report. The draft of the report is actually out now. And on that really nice looking thing that I made, this card that I made, there's a QR code, and you can, if you scan the QR code, it'll take you to the official website of the California Reparations Commission, where you will be able to see that first draft of the report. But I just want to make sure you had a couple of additional pieces of information. Yes, the commission has 2 years to do its work, but there are people who are trying to extend the commission by at least 1 year. And right now, the first report of the commission is coming out in June of this year. So in about less than a month. By law, the commission has to hold at least 10 public hearings. So by law, the California Reparations Commission has to do at least 10 public hearings. The first hearing of the commission happened in June of 2021, but the first in-person hearing of the commission actually happened last month. In between June of 2021 and last month, the commission met probably 7 times, but it was all virtual, it was all online, and it was all not in person. The first in-person hearing was held in San Francisco back in April of this year. So last month, actually about a month to the day from where we are today. So just some basic info: 10 public hearings, 9 commission members, 3 tasks. The task force started in 2020, started officially meeting in 2021, and there's one other thing. In addition to the 10 public meetings, the commission has authorized what it calls, or is doing what it calls community listening sessions. So remember those 6 community groups that I talked about earlier? Those 6 community groups are responsible for doing community listening sessions in communities up and down the state of California. Our group is doing one of our community listening sessions actually next in a couple of weeks, actually in Oakland, and we're going to do our second one on Juneteenth in LA. But we're also doing what you might think of as independent community meetings like this, on our own dime, on our own time, on our own effort, just so that we make sure we reach as many Black people as possible, because we know even with the 10 public hearings, even with the 12 community listening sessions, we got about 2 million plus Black folks in this state. That's still probably not going to be enough. We still got to do more. We're going to have to do as much as we can to reach as many Black people as we can. And that's why we also, in addition to doing these community meetings, in addition to doing the official listening sessions, in addition to going to the actual public hearings, we are actually going out into the community, walking up into the neighborhoods, walking up into the parks. You'll see us in some barbershops. You'll see us in some beauty salons. You might see us in a church. You might see us in a mosque. Wherever we can, you might see some of our team in front of the Walmart, in front of the Kroger's, in front of the Save Mart. Where you might see some of us. So this is for the Sacramento family. You might see some of us in front of the light rail, or at the bus stop, or at the apartment complex. We call them projects. You might see us there too, because we realize that even with the 10 public hearings, the 12 community listening sessions, it ain't gonna be enough. We got a lot of Black people in this state that gotta be a part of this, and that's what we're committed to doing. Also, I'll say this one thing, then I'll move forward. The public meetings, the public hearings of the commission, shout out to everybody who pulls up for those public hearings, but they are 8 hours long for 2 days, 9 to 5, back-to-back days. So some of us got jobs, most of us got kids, some of us got things to do. It is hard for us to be, especially as Black folks, hard for us to sit for a 9 to 5, anything that we're not getting paid for. So, in addition to the public hearings, in addition to the community listening sessions, we got to be out in our community, and that's what we're doing. One last thing to say here: if you are able to attend the public meetings and the public meetings, there is public comment. So there is a public comment period, but it's from the first hour of every public hearing. So if you want to actually show up to a public hearing and give your public comment directly to one of the California Reparations commissioners, you have to be there for the first hour. And you don't have to wait though. You can give your comments, your thoughts, your ideas to the commission via email, And there's a phone number too where you can leave a voicemail also for the California Reparations Commission. So just some basic information about California's Reparations Commission, but I said the word reparations now maybe like 30 times. What does that word mean? So I'm gonna turn this back to you. What does the word reparations mean? I mean, I said it a bunch of times, but I don't really know what that word means. What does that word mean? Idea of what the word reparations means, Jay? Restitution. So Jay says the word reparations mean restitution. What does restitution mean? Payback. Payback. Okay. Anybody else? What does the word reparations mean? Talk to me like I don't know what that word means. What does the word reparations mean to you? What comes to mind? Thoughts? To make wrongs right. I like that. You know, I had a teacher in school that would ask us a question, and if we didn't have an answer, that teacher would not say nothing. He would just stand there. One of the worst teachers I ever had. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I didn't get that. Obviously, we didn't know the answers. Um, but any other thoughts? What does the word reparations mean to you? So Jay says restitution. I like that. Jay's cheating a little bit. Making wrong right. So let's give a simple definition, and then we could talk about what the California Reparations Commission says reparations means, because the California Reparations Commission has a specific definition of reparations. So when we're talking about reparations here today, we're going to be talking about what we might think of as correcting or corrective action. So corrective action to make right a wrong. And you do that corrective action when you do something wrong, you make it right by reparations. Reparations we can think of as corrective action to make right a wrong that was done. This can be by paying money and helping the people who you wronged. So that is a basic understanding of reparations, or a basic idea of what reparations is for us. But the California Reparations Commission, by law, in the law that created the California Reparations Commission, AB 3121, in that law, it says that the California Reparations Commission has to create what it calls reparations that agree with the what it says are internationally accepted, meaning worldwide, global accepted forms of reparations. So there are 5 global forms of reparations, meaning if you go to the United Nations, if you go to other countries where there have been reparations already done, it will come in these 5 forms: compensation, restitution, rehabilitation, satisfaction, and guarantees of non-repetition. Compensation plus restitution plus rehabilitation plus satisfaction plus guarantees of non-repetition equals reparations. So if it doesn't have compensation, it ain't reparations. If it doesn't have restitution, it ain't reparations. If it doesn't have rehabilitation, it ain't reparations. If it doesn't have satisfaction, it ain't reparations. And if it doesn't have guarantees of non-repetition, it ain't reparations. But what do those things mean though? So compensation, that's probably the easiest to understand. Money, financial, cash, the bag, monetary, economics, Let's keep it 100. Our people worked for free for many years, right? Didn't get paid. We got to get paid. So there got to be some money a part of this. Money has to be a part of the reparation. So that's compensation. Restitution. Restitution, normally you could think of restitution as returning stolen property, returning stolen land, or returning the opportunity for property and stolen land. So if you had your property taken, you have your property returned. You are restored. If you had your land taken, you have your land returned. You are restored. Or if you had opportunities for property and land taken, you have those restored to you. That's restitution. Rehabilitation. These are things you might think of as stuff that is not financial, but like services and programs directly for people. So for example, you might think that we deserve free healthcare as a people. You might think we deserve free education as a people. You might think we deserve to not pay taxes as a people. These are what you might consider forms of rehabilitation. There's a bunch of other things you could think about that are rehabilitation, but these are kinds of rehabilitation. Satisfaction, these are what you might more think of as the symbolic forms of reparation. So changing our textbooks to make sure that the history is right. Taking down street names with the slave owners on them. Taking down monuments with the slave owners on them. A public apology. These are what you might call the more symbolic form, but these are what we mean when we say satisfaction usually. And then guarantees of non-repetition. These are changes to laws and changes to practices and changes to the legal system that guarantee us as a people that this won't never happen again. So guarantees of non-repetition, changing the laws to make sure that nothing like this happens to us ever again. So that's what the California Reparations Commission generally means when it's talking about reparations. It's compensation, restitution, rehabilitation, satisfaction, and guarantees of non-repetition. So, but reparations for who though? Who? I mean, who are we talking about here? Who? Reparations for who? Let me put it to y'all. Who deserve reparations? Who should get reparations? Any thoughts? Say that one more time. Freedmen Americans. Okay. Okay. Jay says freedmen Americans. So I'm assuming Jay means the descendants of those who were emancipated and those who were promised the 40 acres and a mule, the descendants of those people. I like that. Any other thoughts? So the California Reparations Commission has an idea and it has a definition of who is eligible for reparations or who will be eligible for reparations in California. And those are those of us black folks who are descendants of persons who were enslaved in this country. It's common sense, but then the question becomes, how do I know that I'm a descendant of someone who was enslaved in this country? Let me ask y'all, put your hand up if you know or think you are a descendant of someone who was enslaved in this country. Well, how do y'all know that? How do y'all know? Jay? Documentation, okay. What types of documentation? Okay. So birth and death records. So some facts to give you a little bit of context here. So everybody that raised their hand, I should have raised my hand too, because I'm also a descendant of somebody who was enslaved in this country by this country. we came here not by choice. We didn't choose to come here. Our ancestors came here by force, came here by force, not by choice. So uh, we are, I check my, we are a specific people. The mic is tripping. 1, 2. So we are, those of us who descend from U.S. slavery in this country, a specific group of people, largely because we came here by, not by choice, but mostly in chains, or we are the descendants of those who came here in chains. Now, there are black folks who chose to come here, but those black folks mostly came here after 1965, 1970. How do I know that? Because before 1965, 1970-ish, the amount of black people who chose to come here or who immigrated here to this country was less than 1%, meaning if you have anybody in your family who was in this country that's black before 1965, 99% chance you are a descendant of US slavery. It kind of makes sense, right? If this country don't like black people, why would it allow black people from outside to come in? Up until 1965, the amount of black immigration, I mean the amount of people from black countries that this country said could come in was almost zero. So 99% chance, if you have anybody in your family who was alive and in this country before 1965, you are a descendant of US slavery. So the California Reparations Commission says that those of us who descend from US slavery are eligible for reparations here in California. And there's one other group, the descendants of what we might call the free blacks who were living in the United States before 1900. Who are the free blacks? Wasn't all of us enslaved? Well, there was a small population of us, a small group of us that were free before the end of the Civil War. Some of us bought our freedom, some of us escaped and took our freedom. But at any time before the end of the Civil War, they could be captured, they could be sold into slavery. There's a famous movie called 12 Years a Slave, where the brother in 12 Years a Slave, I think he was up in New York somewhere, he was free. He was captured in New York, free, sold into slavery. So there's a small group of us that fit that. So the descendants of those of us who were enslaved and the descendants of the free blacks are eligible, will be eligible for reparations here in California, as so says the California Reparations Commission. And then lastly here, reparations for what? So we talked about what reparations are, reparations for who, and now reparations for what? 3 general periods we're talking about. Slavery, so US slavery, the period of what you might call Jim Crow, so the period after, let's say, 1900-ish or 1865 to 1900 through 1965, 1970, and then now. So 3 general time periods: U.S. slavery time, Jim Crow time, and right now time. All right, I'm gonna wrap this part up because I want to get to your questions. Get this too. I want to get to your questions. So I want to just give you a little bit of info about the California Reparations Commission members. There are 9 members, by the way. I'm going to plug this for the 3rd time because I'm so proud of my work here. I worked on this real hard. Okay, so please get one of these cards when you leave. Okay? And there's a QR code on the back too. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you to a website where each of the Reparations Commission members' bios, you can read all about their bios, you can read about their work history, where they come from, their background, etc. So the chair of the Reparations Commission is Camilla Moore. Camilla Moore is an attorney. She is a scholar of reparations. She actually went to school and studied reparations in college. She is a amazing talent. She she won't mind us saying this because it's public. Her birthday, her 30th birthday was on April 14th, April 13th. So she is I think that's a millennial, maybe it's a borderline Gen Z. So she's a millennial black, uh, you know, attorney who is now chairing the California Reparations Commission. So that's Camilla Moore. The vice chair of the commission is Reverend Dr. Amos Brown. Reverend Dr. Brown is out of San Francisco. Oh, by the way, Camilla's from Los Angeles. I think she's from South Central Los Angeles. The vice chair is Dr. Amos Brown, Reverend Dr. Amos Brown. He is out of San Francisco. He is the pastor of Third Baptist Church in San Francisco. And Reverend Brown is, I think he is one of Dr. Martin Luther King's literal students, like literal students, and has done a lot of great work in San Francisco. Also on the commission is State Senator Stephen Bradford out of the Los Angeles area. Also on the commission is San Diego Council member Monica Montgomery Stepp. Also on the commission is Dr. Javon Scott Lewis of Berkeley, of UC Berkeley, Bay Area. Right on, right on. Also on the commission is Dr. Cheryl Grills of, I believe it is Loyola. I hope I'm saying that school right. And she is out of the Southern California area, also I believe the LA area. Also on the commission is Don Tamaki. Don Tamaki. That don't sound like a black person's name, do it? Don Tamaki is the only non-black person on the California Reparations Commission. Don Tamaki, or Donald Tamaki, is actually one of the people who helped the Japanese here in the state of California get their reparations. So Don Tamaki is on the Reparations Commission. Also on the commission is attorney Lisa Holder, who I also believe is out of the Southern California area, or maybe mixing that up. And then last, we've got Assembly Member, California State Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer, who's also on the California Reparations Commission. So those are your California Reparations Commissioners. One last thing before we get to your questions and your thoughts and your ideas is, how do you get involved? So I'm gonna give you 5 ways for you to get involved in California's Reparations Task Force. First, attend, if possible, an upcoming California Reparations Commission hearing and meeting. For information on when those meetings are, you can follow our website at CJECofficial.org. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, somewhere else too, everywhere else really. But also the California Reparations Commission has its own website, and so you can follow that website, or you can go to that website as well. I'm going to say this one more time. That thing that I made, it took many hours to make, that card, has that QR code. Scan the QR code. I put the QR code in there too, and it'll take you to the website. Okay. I am very proud of that, if you didn't notice. So, how else can you get involved in California's Reparations Commission work? Make public comment. Let the commission members know what you think. Let them know what's on your mind. Let them know what you want. You can do that during a commission hearing, as I said, the first hour, but again, you don't have to wait though. You don't have to wait. You can actually share your thoughts, share your ideas to the commission at any time, even now. You can share your thoughts and share your ideas with the California Reparations Commission. Also, and this is the third way, very much related, submit your thoughts and your ideas to the commission through their email and through the phone number that they've set up for you to leave a voicemail with the California Reparations Commission members. You can also, this is the fourth way, subscribe to the California Reparations Commission's email. There's an email newsletter that they send out with information. Also, we have one on our website too, CJECofficial.org. You can sign up for our website too, and that way, anything moving California reparations related, you're gonna get an email. And lastly, attend an upcoming California Reparations community listening session. And perfect segue, because our next community listening session, at least for us, CJEC, is on Saturday, May 28th in Oakland at the California Ballroom. So big shout out to our Oakland team. We got Darlene here from the Oakland family, who is gonna be down there, A big shout out. Also, by the way, happy birthday to Josiah Williams, who is also a part of our Bay Area team. It's his birthday today. Big shout out to Josiah down there in Oakland right now. And also big shout out to his wife. Happy birthday to his wife too, because his wife's birthday was the day before yesterday. So big love to our Bay Area team. So attend our upcoming community listening session in Oakland, Saturday, May 28th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. California Ballroom. And so that's one way that's one other way that you can be involved in what's going on for California reparations. All right, I have a call to action for you, but I'll get to that after we get to your questions and your thoughts. I want to turn it back to you actually and ask you, do you have any questions about anything you've heard today so far, or anything you haven't heard today so far? And while you're thinking about that, I want to tell you that I actually have a couple of questions for you. I got some questions for y'all. So my technical people here are asking for a 5-minute break for. Okay, so they want to set up some microphones. All right. So we're gonna take. So let's take a 5-minute break. Okay. Get the bathroom if you need to go to the bathroom. All right. Let's take a quick break. Let them set up the microphones, and then we will get to your questions, your thoughts, and then I got some questions for y'all too. All right. Okay. By the way, big shout out to everybody that's watching again. Once again, the live stream. Appreciate you. If you got questions too, if you got thoughts and you watching on YouTube, please let us know because we will be taking questions in about 5 minutes. The brother's gonna set up some microphones. I was just going to yell out the questions and yell out the answers, but we got some real skilled technical people here, so I'm not going to stand in their way. All right, so we'll be back in 5 minutes. Am I good? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Great work though, y'all. Okay. I'll see you back there. What's up, man? Thank y'all for coming out too. I really appreciate it. I know it's Saturday. I know it's hot. I know it's hot. It's hot. It's on fire out here. I really appreciate y'all. That my brother gets set up with the microphones. But again, thank y'all for coming out. Appreciate it. Actually talked longer than I thought I was going to talk. Yeah, it's hot. Also, looking for the bathroom. I think it's straight and to the left, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be mistaken. Good work. Let me know when y'all ready. What's up, bro? What's up? What's your name? JJ. Chris. Pleasure. All mine. Thank you for living it. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you. Cool. Yeah. Are we still live? Yeah. Okay. Right on. Yeah. Get some water. Get some. To the bathroom. You know. Get some air. And we almost done. Then we're gonna get you back to your Saturday. You know. And again, much appreciated. Thank everybody for coming out. This is important. Saying, and yeah, it's hot. All right, let me know when you're ready. I got some questions. For y'all. I got some questions for y'all too. We're gonna see. I know the AC ain't go off. There you go. All right, bro. Waiting on you. 2 minutes. Okay. Cool. Cool. Matter of fact, let me get my water. Hold on. Yeah. Why not? Also, if you haven't had a chance, and actually, you might actually circulate it. Hold on. I was gonna say, make sure you get a chance to sign this sign-in sheet here, but I'm actually gonna pass it around. Hold on. All right. Thank you. We almost ready. We almost ready. Again, big shout out to the ETM Media family. ETM Media, by the way, live streams all of the California Reparations Commission meetings. So if you, like many of us, aren't able to spend as much of the time as you probably want to actually attending the meetings and doing public comment, because they are 8 hour long meetings. They're usually during work hours, and they're usually in the during the middle of the week. So, or during a weekday. So if you aren't able to, you can always check out the live stream replay of the California Reparations Commission live stream meetings on ETM Media Group on YouTube. So make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to ETM Media. And again, I want to thank ETM Media for doing all that live stream work.
Test one, test two, testing, test one, test two. Okay, family, anybody has any questions, please come up to the front and ask your questions. We greatly appreciate it.
All right, let me make sure are we still live? Are we good on the live?
Oh, Kim, is
okay, we good?
Camera on? We ready to roll?
We are rolling. Okay.
We're rolling.
So, all right. So we're gonna do some question and answer. And again, the question for y'all is: do you have any questions on anything you've heard so far today, or anything you haven't heard so far today? Anything that you have a question about? Anything you've heard so far today? Got one question right there. Yep. On the way. The youth.
Okay. I don't know if it's like a question, but like basic understanding if reparations, like giving back, that to me, I mean, can you tell me if I'm right or wrong? Does it mean like giving back what is owed to those who cannot get it now? Like the descendant wise. I mean.
Yes. First of all, first of all, you're not wrong. You are 100% right. That's exactly what we mean. Normally, and you said this better than I did actually, giving back to those who aren't here, but giving back to their descendants what they are owed. That's a better definition than I did. That is absolutely right. Normally, when we talk about reparations, we say it's a debt. It's something old. Our ancestors, the people who we come from, that's what we mean when we say ancestors. Our ancestors, the people who we come from, are owed. They were owed something because they worked for free for hundreds of years. Over 200 years, they worked and did not get paid at all, not one time. Then after that, they were so-called freed, but were freed with nothing. But they were promised something. They were promised land and they were promised other things too. And they never got that. And so, unfortunately, they died before they could get it. And so, what's owed to them is now passed down to what's owed to us. So, that's exactly what we mean, exactly what we're saying by reparations. That is exactly right. 100%.
Okay, family. I think
Other
I-
questions or
any
thoughts,
other-
comments?
Test. Questions, comments?
And then I got some questions for y'all.
I got a question for you, bro.
Okay.
So one of the,
This is gonna be a hard one.
I think one of the reparations, or meaning, one of the, I guess, the 5 points for reparations is guarantees of non-repetition.
Yes, guarantees of non-repetition.
And
Yep,
this
yep.
is for everybody in the audience, for the family, and also for the family in the chat. Oftentimes historically, especially when we're dealing with white racist supremacy, there's a saying that our Native American brothers and sisters said, the white man speaks with a forked tongue. So my question is for guarantees of non-repetition, oftentimes the United States has reneged. How are we supposed to have faith into if this guarantees of non-repetition is supposed to be met? How is this supposed to be enforced when historically it hasn't been enforced?
That's a great question. The question is, so we talked about reparations coming in 5 forms: compensation, restitution, rehabilitation, satisfaction. And my good brother here is asking about that 5th form, guarantees of non-repetition. And the question is, how are we supposed to have faith? How is this supposed to be a guarantee if we know that this country, this government has lied in the past, has said it was going to do one thing and then not done that, said it wasn't going to do one thing and then did that? So how can we trust any guarantees of non-repetition that come from any reparations? And I want to hear what y'all think too, but the answer was actually in some of the comment that the brother gave after the question. There's a saying, trust but verify. So really, it's not about having faith, it's not about having trust, it's actually about enforcement. So it's actually going to be one on us to make sure that whatever we get, whatever we achieve is actually enforced, but it's also on us to make sure that we design the guarantees of non-repetition in a strong enough way so that way actually enforce them. So we won't trust, we won't have faith. What we're going to do is actually enforce what we create. And it's going to be on us to design the guarantees of non-repetition in a way that is strong enough, that way we can enforce it. So if, for example, the government says we are guaranteeing this, and now we're trying to change what we're guaranteeing, that we have a way to enforce and actually force the government to do what it says, or what we said we want it to do. So no trust, no faith. We've been here too long to be putting trust and faith in this government. I'm gonna say that again. We've been here too long to be putting trust and faith in this government. So we won't trust and we won't have faith, but we will have enforcement. Is the question?
Test
Other
one, test
questions?
two, test.
I'm good with this. Cracking a little bit. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. All right. Mic check. Other questions, other thoughts on anything? Yeah, this is a little better. Other questions or other thoughts on anything you've heard so far? Jay. Jay's coming up to the mic. And again, we are taking questions, comments, thoughts on anything you heard so far, or any reparations question generally at all also.
I have a question. If you can elaborate more on the I think that's what it's called, deaggregation of
Disaggregation,
the,
yeah.
of the statistical data in California.
Thank you
Can
for
bring
asking that
up?
question, brother. Yeah. I think so. I don't know if y'all on Twitter like us or y'all on Instagram like us. We were celebrating yesterday. I think we shut the internet down yesterday, actually. We shut Reparations Twitter down yesterday because we found out that the state of California will start to so Jay used the word disaggregate. So let me actually back up and put some context around this so you can understand what I'm talking about. Right now, the government has a term for us. It has a way it talks about us. It calls us Black or African American. That's what the government calls us. That's what we called on the census. That's what we called in most of us right now on our birth certificates, on our death records. The government has a racial classification, a racial way of talking about us. But that means Black or African American means the following: anybody with ancestry in the Black racial groups of Africa. That is the literal legal definition of what Black or African American means on the government records. If you go to the U.S. Census website, if you go to the government website and you look up what does the U.S. Census mean when it says Black or African American, that's exactly what it's going to say. It's going, I'm messing up a couple words, but it's going to say something like anyone with origins in the Black racial groups of Africa. That's a problem. That is a problem. Because where am I in there? Where are you in there? I'm a Black person who descends from U.S. slavery in this country. I'm a part of the Black people that built this country. Where is my specific identity in there? Where am I in there? Right now, you cannot go to any state, including here in California. You can't go to the county of Sacramento. You can't go to the city of Sacramento and ask them how many Black people in this city, how many Black people in this county, how many Black people in this state are actually from the Black people that built this country. There will be no answer because of how we are called, Black or African American. So some of us have been working really for a couple years now to make our state first what the brother Jay here calls disaggregate, meaning basically to break down this Black or African American category, just break it down. So there's this Black or African American thing, but there's different groups inside there. Some of us are from the Black folks who built this country. Some of us are from the Black folks who built this country in our old reparations. Some of us are from Black groups that came to the country later, from other black countries, from countries in Africa, from countries in the Caribbean, from countries in South America that have large black populations. But right now, all of us are called the same thing. And so what we've been working on for a couple years now is making our state actually take this Black or African American category and break it down and say, all right, so you got this Black African American thing, but we need a separate, specific space for Black folks who built this country. And we need a special, specific way to collect information and to see these people and to give these people their own identity. That was missing up until now. So we found out yesterday, and I want to give a big shout out to the people who've been working on this on our team, and from the team down in LA, team in San Bernardino County, and a team in the Bay Area, a team up here in Sacramento. We've been working for about 2 years on a law to change that. And we found out yesterday that the governor is going to start actually breaking down this Black/African American category first for state employees first. And then we're going to work to make sure that the rest of the state does it too. So California will also be the first state in the country, in addition to being the first state in the country to do a reparations commission, we're going to be the first state in the country to actually break down this Black/African American category and actually create a space where you and I actually have a place where we can be seen. If we can't be seen, we can't have nothing done specifically for us. And that's what's been happening. Nothing gets done specifically for us. Every time we want something or need something, we have to include a bunch of different other groups. So what we've been working on is making sure that we actually can be seen. And the governor, and again, big shout out to the people that have been working on this. The governor accepted the language that we had written into state law. I'm trying not to use bill numbers because I don't want to. I ain't trying to confuse people. But if you are interested, the bill is called AB 1604. Bye-bye. AB 1604. It's actually Section 2 of AB 1604. And we actually worked with Assemblymember Chris Holden out of the LA area, who agreed with us and then liked what we wrote and then put it into his law, or put it into his bill called AB 1604. And then we worked with Chris Holden's office and the governor's office up until now to get that part of AB 1604 that does the breakdown the data into the California budget that's coming next month. Y'all may have been seeing a bunch of stories about the California budget. California, and this is a question that I was hoping y'all gonna ask me, how are we gonna pay for this? Because I had a bunch of stuff ready. So I'm gonna ask myself, how are we gonna pay for reparations? California got money. California got money. First of all, we're the 5th largest economy on the planet. This state of California has the 5th largest economy on earth. Bigger than Russia, bigger than a whole bunch of other countries combined. This state has the 5th largest economy. We do more economics than all but 5 other countries on the planet. And one of the other countries is the country that we live in. Right? So that's the first thing to say about how we're going to pay for it. But the second thing is we have, and we just found this out yesterday really, we have almost $100 billion what they call surplus this year, meaning after California paid all its bills last year, we got an extra $100 billion to figure out what to do with it. Also, California has something called a rainy day fund, meaning billions of dollars just sitting until it rains. And I'm gonna sound like a cliche here, but it's raining like hell on black people right now, and it's been raining. So the budget proposal came out yesterday, and we found out, we went through the budget proposal, and we talked to some of our contacts with Chris Holden's office, and we asked them, hey, is what we want to do with breaking down the data in the budget, because that's what we thought was going to happen. And they said, yes, it is. Look at this page. And we looked at it, and it says California will, for the first time ever, start breaking down this Black or African American category. So that's what the brother Jay's question was about, and that's a big deal. California, this will be the first state to do that. One more thing to say about why that's important. Again, some of y'all heard me say this 100 times probably, but we've been here 400 years as a people, 400 plus years. We don't have a name. So we've been here 400 years as a people. We don't have a specific name for our people. We don't have a specific place to gather information for our people. Black/African American ain't us specifically. It's us plus this group plus that group plus that group plus that group. All of those groups equal Black or African American. The Black people that built this country do not have a specific name. That will change starting this year, at least in the state of California, starting with our state's 2+ million employees. And then we're going to work to make this happen for the rest of the state and all across the country. I know our family in New York actually has a project going on right now to do the same thing. Our family in the DMV area, which is the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, has a project to do the same thing. We got some family in Texas working on the same thing. We got some family in, I think, Chicago working on the same thing. We got some family in other parts of the state, other parts of the country working on the same thing. But California will be the first to do it. And that's what we found out yesterday, Jay, that California will be the first to what we call disaggregate, but what we really mean is just break down the data for Black folks and actually create a specific place for us as a people and actually give us our own name. All right, we got 15 minutes left. I want to see if y'all got any other questions, because I got a couple questions for y'all, and I hope you answer them right. Oh, I hope you answer them right. All right, let me get to my questions for y'all. And then we can see if we get some answers. So, no one who was enslaved is alive, and no one who was an enslaver is also alive. So why do we deserve reparations? Isn't it like taking money from people who were never enslaved and giving it to people who never enslaved anybody?
Test one, test one. Test two. If you don't volunteer, I want to put the microphone in your face. All right, Mr. J, what do you got to say, bro?
I would say because we live in the after effects of what it's caused to our people today, for the most part. So the effects of slavery has dramatically put us in a place where, we're in, need of assistance, heavy assistance.
Right on. Oh, we got another answer.
I just want to add on to also how the history, some of the fake history that's still out there. I lost my train of thought.
Fake history, you're right.
It's really, took a toll on most of our people, just the false narratives and the false history and psychological effects it puts on our people too.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer. Here's how I would add to that answer. And I asked that question on purpose because when we have actual reparations legislation next year, we're going to hear all kinds of reasons why we shouldn't get reparations. If you think we're going to hear all kinds of reasons why we should not get reparations. One of the most common things you're going to hear is, I didn't have nothing to do with slavery. My family didn't enslave nobody, and your family, and you're not a slave. So why do I got to give you money? I had nothing to do with it. How I add to that answer is, yes, no one who was an enslaver is alive, and yes, no one is now alive who was enslaved. I want to put an asterisk about that and come back to it. But the U.S. government is alive and well, and the United States government is responsible for slavery and responsible for what happened after slavery. So the U.S. government is alive, the U.S. government is responsible, and that's why the U.S. government must pay reparations. Simple as that. One other thing to say though, if y'all haven't heard, our family in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for those of y'all who don't know, I'm sure everybody here, most everybody here knows, in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, the Greenwood district of Tulsa, which is what we most know of as Black Wall Street, was bombed and burned to the ground by the white folks in Greenwood. And there are 3 people who are alive today who were there when it happened. There are 2 twin, brother and sister, who are 101 years old. And then there's another brother who was 108 years old. I just turned 107 or 108. Hope I'm getting that right. Big respect. They are alive and well, and they are still fighting for reparations. And just last week, a court in Tulsa said that their case for reparations can go forward, that they can actually make their case for reparations. They've been fighting in court for reparations for years now. So inside of the question that I asked y'all was this idea that slavery and all this stuff was so long ago. No, we got living survivors of some of the things that happened just 20, 30, 40, 50 years after the end of slavery. I got another question for y'all. This is gonna be my last question. So I said that the people who are eligible for reparations in California are 2 groups, basically. Those of us who are descendants of U.S. slavery and the descendants of what we might call the free blacks living in the U.S. before 1900. Why 1900 though? Why not 1865? Do you have an answer, brother?
I don't, but maybe this young lady
It looks
does.
like you do.
Young lady does not have the answer.
Any ideas why 1900? Why 1900? Why not 1865? Why not 1866?
I don't know, maybe failed Reconstruction or Jim Crow or.
Okay, close, very, very, very close. Close. Right. Other thoughts? Other ideas? Jay got a answer. Why 1900? Why not 1865? Why not 1770 something? Like why? Why 1900?
I think that's during the time when they created the Freedmen's Bureau, for one, and then 2, they created a whole commission that actually recorded most of our ancestors, like in the, I guess, the Dawes Rolls and stuff like that. So it's a link that we can go directly to, that was put by the U.S. government to, in some efforts to track, who's freedmen, who's not.
Right on. Great answers. I'm gonna add to them. I'm gonna follow with a question, which is supposed to give you an answer. But did slavery end in 1865? Next month, in about 35 days, we're gonna celebrate something called Juneteenth. What is Juneteenth? What does Juneteenth? What is the holiday Juneteenth for?
So is your question officially ended? Because we still kind of going through slavery right now, brother.
I got a answer for that too. But let me ask, when did slavery end? Jay?
They say it's Juneteenth, but you know, we get different ideas of that. Some people say it was after that specific date or maybe before. Some people say that slavery, even though that they say that that's the time when slavery ended, it, you know, in actuality, it actually ended probably like 30, 40 years later.
Okay.
After that.
You see? We getting closer. And again, the question is, why 1900? Why not say living in the United States, until 1865? So, right. So Jay, and so everybody is going in the right direction. And the question that I followed up with was, when did slavery actually end? The next month, about 35 days from now, we're going to celebrate something called Juneteenth on June 19th. Sunday, June 19th is about a month and 5 days from now. Juneteenth is not a day that I don't even like to say celebrate, but we honor. Juneteenth is not about the end of slavery. Juneteenth is about Black folks in Texas who found out 2 years after the end of the Civil War that slavery ended. So the point I want to make here is we use 1900 for a few different reasons. But one of the reasons is because we recognize that slavery actually did not end in 1865. Again, that's partly why we have this day called Juneteenth, to recognize that there were Black folks in Texas in 1867, 2 years later, who still didn't know yet. So we use 1900 as a day to, there's several different reasons for this, but one of the reasons is that 1900 is a good place to stop to make sure that we are talking about Black folks who descend from U.S. slavery and the free Blacks living in this country, because we recognize that slavery actually really didn't end when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and or when the official end of the Civil War happened. One last thing to say is, right now, and so at our listening session in Oakland on the 28th coming up, we're gonna have a brother there named Samuel Brown. Samuel Brown did 24 years in prison. He's been home about 100 days, 115 days. So Samuel Brown is gonna be at our listening session, and he's gonna talk about something that he wrote while he was in prison that is now a bill, an effort to change the California Constitution to end slavery going on right now. So right now, you can be forced to work, you can be enslaved if you are incarcerated. If you go to jail, you can be forced to work. Samuel Brown was in jail, and in 2019, I believe, or 2020, he had a job in jail. He was getting paid 75 cents an hour before taxes, 75 cents an hour before taxes. And when he was told that he had to go into somebody else's jail cell and clean up their jail cell because they had COVID in there, he said, I don't want to do this job, it's dangerous. I don't want to get sick. I got a medical condition. I don't want to do this job. He was told if he did not do the work, they was going to add more years to his sentence. So he was being forced to work. If he did not do the job, they would, and Samuel's going to tell us a lot better than I can, they was going to give him a violation on his record that was going to mean that the next time he went for parole, which was coming up, they was going to start him with another 7 years plus. So Samuel told his wife, who is here in Sacramento, a woman by the name of Jamelia Lamb, he told his wife while he was in jail, they forcing me to work. I don't want to do this. They about to violate me and give me a strike on my record. It's going to mean 7+ more years, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, you need to do something about that. We need to do something about that. And he wrote in his cell what is now called, I'm trying not to get technical here, but something called ACA3. ACA3, Assembly Constitutional Amendment 3. A for Assembly, C for Constitutional, A for Amendment number 3. What ACA3 will do this year, when we say we want it, is remove the exception for slavery that exists right now in our state of California Constitution. Right now, if you go online, if you Google California's Constitution, it says slavery and involuntary servitude is prohibited except as punishment for a crime. Literally what it says. Slavery and involuntary servitude, meaning being forced to work involuntarily against your will, is wrong, is not allowed, except if you get punished for a crime. Then it's allowed. That's literally what our state constitution says right now. Samuel wrote the thing that will change that this year. ACA3 at a certain point is going to come to us. Some real fast political education here. Any changes to our state constitution normally have to come to us, to the people, to vote on. So some things our state can do, the senators and the politicians vote on it. Some things the state can't do without you and me saying we want to do it, meaning it's going to come to us in November for like a ballot. Do you want this to happen, yes or no? This will most likely come to us this year. And this will be a current form of slavery still going on that we will be able to change this year. And again, Samuel obviously is going to do a lot better than I did talking about that. But we started with the question of why 1900, and we realized that slavery actually did not end officially in 1865. And we also realized that slavery is actually still going on right now in the jails and in the prisons. Right now, we got brothers and sisters right now making clothes, doing janitorial services, making products that every single one of us use every day in prison. This is just a fact. And they are being forced to work for the most part. So that was my last question for y'all. Are there any other final questions, thoughts? We are at 4 o'clock. I try to respect people's time. I appreciate you on a Saturday. Any other last questions, thoughts, comments at all? Any questions about reparations at all? About California reparations at all? Okay. I'm gonna do. Oh,
We got one.
hold on. We got one.
You mentioned that when you guys were talking about the number amount, that it was within the budget. How exactly have you guys or the team in general calculated what would be the reparations? What
What's the
came up
price?
with that number amount?
Yeah, what's the price? How
Great
much?
question.
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. I should have put that in my questions. How much is it gonna cost? I actually did a Twitter Spaces on this, by the way, a few weeks back. So if you want to go find me on Twitter, you can see a Twitter Spaces. We talk for 3 hours about this. I'm shamelessly plugging myself. So great question. How much is reparations going to cost in California? So the California Reparations Commission team group, the 9 people on that thing, right on. We just regular people. So the California Reparations Commission has hired a team of economists. And for those of us who don't know what economist is, basically, economist is a type of scientist, a type of person that studies and then knows how to tell you how much stuff costs. Okay, that's an easy, simple way to understand what a economist is. The California Reparations Commission has hired some economists to answer that specific question. They just started their work really in March/April, so they're still working, but they gave us some idea of how much reparations would cost if we look at it a couple different ways, and I'll be quick on this. If the goal of California reparations is to close what we call the racial wealth gap, meaning white folks got a certain amount of wealth, got a certain amount of resources, black folks got a certain other amount. If what we're trying to do is bring black folks up to where white folks is, the cost of that in California will be $872 billion. That's what they told us. $872 billion. Almost $1 trillion. Just for the state of California. For the federal government, so for the national government to do that same thing, to do reparations and do that same thing, bring black folks up to where white folks is, the cost is about $14 trillion. So for California to close the racial wealth gap, if that's the goal of reparations, if we say that's the goal of reparations, and the commission has to say that that's the goal, if that's our goal, then $872 billion is the cost today. That number will change because our wealth changes every year. So that's the first way that the economist said, this is one way you could do it, this is how much it's going to cost, and then it's going to be up to us to figure out where we get the money from. Budget, rainy day fund, taxes.
As Kim said, the Golden Gate Bridge.
Kim wants royalties from the Golden Gate Bridge. And every time anybody passes through the tolls, Kim wants a piece of that. I'll take it. I'll take it too. But there's one more way that the California Reparations Commission says this is how much reparations will cost in California. And this is a little bit more not simple because it actually might be more, to be honest with you. But there's no number on this yet because this is, and you'll understand why there's no specific number on this. So I'll say this again. If the goal of California reparations is to bring black folks' wealth up to where white folks' wealth is, if that's the goal, the economists told the Reparations Commission it will cost California, the state, $872 billion. That's the first way. And we have to decide if that's the goal. The other way is to say that California is going to pay for the specific things and the specific harms that California did. So California is going to pay for the harm it did to black people in housing, the harm it did to black people in healthcare, the harm it did and does to black people in education, the harm it did and does to black people in a number of other areas. Actually, the Reparations Commission put 13 different types of things that California did bad. on a list, actually added a little bit more to the list. So it's probably about 15, 16 things now. And then said, okay, economists, give us a number for each one of these things. And then add it up. They're not done yet with that. And so that's the second way. And the commission actually, the Reparations Commission actually said, we like that way better. So if the goal is closing the racial wealth gap, meaning, and by wealth, we're going to do some basic learning here. I know it's Saturday, we got kids in here. I know. It's Saturday. We do some basic learning. When we say wealth, we mean a very specific thing. Wealth is, you take the value, take everything you own, house, car, furniture, clothes, whatever you got in a savings account and a checking account. If you own a business, if you own some stocks, if you own some bonds, you take everything, you add it up, then you subtract everything you owe on that. You owe a mortgage, you got a car note, you got some credit card debt, you got bills. You take that and minus that, and whatever you got over is your wealth. That's what we mean by wealth. And so right now, white folks have about 8, 10, 12 times the amount of wealth that black folks have. So if the goal is to bring us up to where the white folks are, wealth, $872 billion, that's what California would have to, that's the price of California reparations, according to the California Reparations Commission economists. And again, there's the second way, which is, this is what California specifically did. California specifically did harm to us in housing, specifically did harm to us in education, et cetera, et cetera. And then we need numbers for each one of those and then add that up. That's the second way. We don't have the answer to that yet. I can't wait to hear what they say. And right now, the commission, like I said, put a bunch of stuff on a list. At the April hearing of the commission, they actually said, okay, start with this one and then go to that one. They actually said, start with the housing harms. Excuse me, we got a lot, y'all drive around like we do. We got a lot of people out on the streets. We got a lot of our people who is close to being out on the streets. A lot of our people, you know how we do, we live with other people. I live with my aunt, my uncle, my grandmother. I'm taking care of my niece. My cousin lived with me. What's her name? Sleep on the couch. You sleep this way, we sleep that way. So-and-so stay over here every 3 days or so. That's real life for us, right? So the Reparations Commission says start with the housing, and then put a cost on that, and then move to the next one, and then move to the next one. So great question. It's a fascinating question, you know, and there was a lot of discussion around which one of those two ways we should do it. May seem simpler to do it one way, just do the wealth way. It may seem more complicated to do this way, but there are pros and cons to both. In this way, in the wealth way, one of the arguments against that way was, one, you are asking California to pay for stuff that California may not be responsible for. And that may affect your ability to actually get it done. So when we take the actual language for the legislation to the state next year and say, this is the price for this, we got to get 20 plus senators and 40 plus or 30 plus assembly people to say yes, plus one governor to sign it. So the argument was, if we asked in California to pay for stuff California didn't do, it's going to be harder to get that done. Because people might say, well, this is not, California didn't do this. This includes stuff that California didn't do. One of the other arguments against that first way, I said I was going to be quick, but it's such a good question. One of the other arguments against that first way is that one thing we got to be really careful about is not doing anything that makes the federal government think that it don't have to do what it has to do. So we doing state reparations here in California. California is the first state to create a reparations commission. That's what we're talking about. That's why we're here. But we know that the federal government is really where we gotta be at the end. The federal government got to do reparations at the end. So one of the other arguments was, let's not do anything, or if we do this wealth way, we would be giving the federal government a way to say, let the states handle it. We ain't gonna do it. Let the states handle it, and that will let the federal government off the hook. Those are a couple of the arguments against the wealth way. There were some really strong arguments for it too. It's much more simple. It's affordable. California actually is a part of the country, so we were also working with the federal government too. But it's a fascinating question. And last thing to say is where we actually started. We've never been here as let me say this. Let me say it right. We haven't been this close to reparations as a people since the end of the Civil War. So the question that you asked is a question that you are one of the first people to ask. The truth. You one of the first people to ask, and actually maybe even have an answer to how much is reparations going to cost for the state of California. We've never been here as a people, at least for a very long time. So thank you for that question. And thank you all for your questions too. And yeah, appreciate your time. Please follow us on social media. Check out our website at CJECofficial.org. All the information that we talked about today is on the website. There's a tab that says California Reparations. Just go to that tab. It has all of the slides that I actually talked through here. Make sure you get the thing that I made. Big shout out to the ETM Media team. Big shout out to the live stream audience watching on YouTube. I know family is watching. Big love to Neighbor Program. By the way, make sure you are supporting Neighbor Program here in Oak Park. Mondays and Fridays, free groceries. Mondays and Fridays, you come here, you get free groceries. Free breakfast program once a month. Free legal expungement clinic once a month. They got a bunch of activities that go on in and around this center pretty much every single week. They got a newspaper that they put out, which is a community newspaper. Please support this program. Please support this place. And I want to thank you.
Yes, thanks everyone. Emend the Mass Media Group definitely wants to thank you. And great job, Chris. Can everybody give a hand for Chris? Got to give a hand for Chris, man. Give a hand for Chris. We're having a rally June the 12th at the Sacramento Capitol. Reparations rally. So we appreciate everybody's support. If you can't come out, that is from 11 to 1 o'clock. That's a Sunday, June the 12th. And I'll let my man wrap it up.
Right on. Oh, I'll say one more thing. Make sure you didn't. Make sure you, if you did, make sure you sign up on the sign-in sheet here. You can volunteer with us. If you want to volunteer to actually help do events like these, help us put on these kind of events, help us actually do community outreach for reparations, we are looking for you. If you want to actually help us create community reparations proposals that go to the Reparations Commission, that's another part of our work. Please join us. We are looking to work with people who want to do those things here in the city of Sacramento. And obviously we got a team in the Bay Area too. But if you're here in Sacramento, please do sign up, sign in, and we will be in touch. Thank you very much, y'all. Have a great day. Great work. All right. On a Sunday, it should be Saturday. Great work. Appreciate it. Thank you to the ETM Media family. And I'm gonna sip the water.
So if you were to bring the black share of wealth at least to the black share of the population, it would require an additional at least $10 trillion.